We had 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of mescaline, 5 sheets of high-powered blotter acid, a salt shaker half full of cocaine, a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, laughers, also a quarter tequila, quarter rum, case of beer, pint of raw ether, and 2 dozen amyls. Not that we needed all that for the trip, but once you get locked into a serious drug collection, the tendency is to push it as far as you can.
Welcome to the Late Night Race Review. The start of the Perez return as Lando gets all in a spin. Carlos and Russell get down in their luck, and as usual, Max takes the win. It's the inaugural Las Vegas GP. We wrap it up with a look at our fantasy league and our predictions game, as always. Don't forget to support the podcast by hitting those like, follow, and subscribe buttons. Welcome back to the Late Night Race Review. I am Owen Scott, and with me as always, I nearly forgot what my name was there. With me as always is Dave Jericho, and the Moroccan marauder Isidro Gonçalves. Lads, this week I think I've got cliche fatigue. I was going to write a little intro, but then I think Sky Sports just bedded out of me today with all of the put your money on red and all that stuff. I think I'm done with cliches forever, I think.
No, you couldn't have done that. Our podcast is corny and cheesy enough. We don't need to purposely do it.
No, they wore me down. Absolutely, every second turn was some sort of a cliche about Elvis or Las Vegas. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's grim.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Although, to be fair, if anybody looks like Elvis, I'm looking at you as Isidro.
Not there yet.
If we find you dead on the toilet holding a cheeseburger.
The onesie pajamas don't help, but you know.
Yeah, with the gold belt on it.
The spectacle that was Las Vegas. Before we get into the race or any of that type of stuff, let's just talk about that first of all, because this has been one of the most hyped weekends probably in, maybe not in F1 history, but in recent history anyway. This has been talked about for a few years now, and they finally got to do it. But Dave, did it look, or did it look like what you thought it was going to look like, and did it live up to the hype?
You're right. It's probably it's probably the most hyped addition to the F1 calendar, I suppose, since Miami, isn't it, in recent years?
Yeah.
And that one flopped. So I was kind of thinking it was going to flop. And there's a bit about me, like, when something's overhyped, and there's going to be a big kind of carnival surrounding it, you kind of almost hope it fails, just because they sort of, they just go too overboard with it and take away from the racing. So you almost hope it fails, so you can kind of go, see, I told you, if you just focus on the racing, would be grand. Like, yeah. But it was class. It was like it was really good. The racing was class. The sort of the backdrop of Las Vegas, it looked good. It looked like it's like if I was 10 years old playing the PlayStation 1 again, and there was like a futuristic F1 racetrack. Like that's sort of what you're gonna get. Like, I thought it looked great. Like the whole kind of show though, like the sort of like that. Well, I don't know what you call it. The opening ceremony, I think they had. Wasn't it? Yeah. All that. Like I can do without that, but. Look, some people like it. Look, fuck it. If they like it, they like it. I don't have to watch it.
I initially had not reservations. I straight up hated the opening ceremony. It grinded me down. There was 27 minutes of a load of people that I don't know who they are, apart from 30 Seconds to Mars, and then there was 3 minutes of drivers
and Journey.
But Journey were there as well, yeah. But my brother made a very good point. He was like, what other opening ceremonies do you watch in the F1? No one ever tunes in for the opening ceremonies. Like, usually it's something that you don't see.
Well, like,
just ignore it.
But there is no opening ceremony necessarily like that. The only time that they did that before, they did it obviously in Miami. They tried to do it in Austin, where they did this. Do you remember where they were calling out the drivers, and they'd come out, they had like the trophy in the middle of the track, and then the drivers used to come out and kind of stand in a square around it, and it was really corny, and it always, like, the choreography or whatever, I don't know what you would call it, in terms of getting people out on time and knowing where they needed to stand and stuff. Nobody ever got that right. And even this time, even the opening ceremony, not even the opening ceremony, actually, you know, when they got your man, what's his name, the UFC announcer?
Oh yeah, Bruce Buffer.
Yeah. So when they had him calling out the guys to get them into their little rent-a-cars, like like they had no idea where they were going. Like they were walking out. First, I think Charles Leclerc and SergioPerez thought they were going over to your man to get interviewed. They were going, like, they went over to him waiting for him to, and he's like, no, that's me. I'm done. You fuck off. Go somewhere else.
That's all I got paid for. That's my appearance fee. I am out.
Yeah. So
I've said the thing.
Yeah. But like all that, like I find corny. It never works. It's really bad. Look, I can get on board with a bit of music or something like that at the start, maybe get a band playing or something like that, fine, or whatever. But that cheesy calling out the drivers and stuff, it never works. There's always something tack about it. And it's only the American races they've attempted to do this for. They don't do it for any other race. I don't know whether maybe they have tried it for another race, but
I'm surprised that somewhere in the Middle East hasn't done this, because remember the closing ceremony for the World Cup, and Messi had that, they put that gold veil over Messi.
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing that reminds me of the corniness of.
But wasn't that very
American.
much like that had something to do with, it was a Warriors?
Yeah, I don't care what it was. It was shite.
Yeah,
Just
but
let them lift
no.
the trophy.
But I mean, it was very much them sort of stamping their.
Yeah.
You know, this is our World Cup kind of thing. Messi's not the biggest thing here. We're gonna brand Messi with our kind of drape him in our traditions so that like we take center stage. Like it was very
us
much
handing someone a pint of Guinness at the closing ceremony of an Irish tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking drink that in front of everyone, will you?
A leprechaun.
Isidro, what did you think of the weekend overall? We're finally getting to you. Sorry, buddy.
Nah, no problem. This was a mix of Super Bowl meets Formula One.
Yeah,
basically that's what it was. A big show, and then you just have the little racing at the end of it. That's like they saw Vegas. But overall, I was surprised how good the race was, considering the poor practice sessions that we had and all the problems that the fans had. The race itself was actually quite entertaining, and not as much crashes as I was expecting with those 90-degree turns.
Mm-hmm. Before we actually get into the race itself, there was the manhole cover or the drain cover incident in P1. Dave, like everyone, instantly were you like, oh, Las Vegas, God damn it, look at what they've done.
I did, but just I just thought more from the comical side of it. I thought all this money spent, the size of the production, the size of the show, and then it just gets foiled by a manhole cover. Like, I just thought that was fucking hilarious. But like, I mean, I wasn't that kind of. If I was there, because what happened for the people that were there, now that's different. I would have been absolutely steaming. Yeah. But for me watching at home, I was like, I mean, that happens. That's happened at tons of races over the years. I've been watching Formula One, so it's not unique to Las Vegas, like, you know. But the people that had to, before I go on my rant, I'll let Isidro jump in. Yeah, go on, Isidro.
Although it sucks, wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning just to have 5 minutes race.
Well, that's true. Well, the difference is I was already awake. I didn't intentionally wake up just for it, so I was already awake. But the people that had to, like, because they pushed the free practice 2, by in the end it was an hour and a half, and because the track has to be open to the public by a certain time, and the logistics of getting all the fans out of there would have cut them close to time. They had to basically just at 1 o'clock or whatever it was, before free practice 2 even started, they had to fucking get all the fans out of there. And I'm kind of thinking, now I know you're paying, for those who had been paying the bonkers money, the 5, 6, 10, 20, whatever $1,000 per ticket, like, you're there probably for you've got your money's worth anyway, but still you'd be fairly fucked off that you didn't get to see, like, if you're hanging around all day because you want to see free practice 1 and free practice 2, and you got 8 minutes and got told to fuck off, and then they kind of added insult to injury by issuing a statement, not apologizing in the statement or saying sorry to the fans for how they handled it. Nothing like that. Offered them $200 that they could spend in the official F1 merch shop.
Yeah.
So basically something that costs 5 cents for some sweatshop in Thailand to produce, you can then throw that 200 quid back into the F1 shop.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, and so now there's 35,000 people now on the class action suit. And I have to say, I joked and said, like, it wouldn't be America without a lawsuit, like, but I don't blame them. I'd be fucked off as well. I'm like, had they come out and apologized and said, look, we'll give you a partial refund, or we'll give you a discount off the 2024 ticket or something, something, I don't know, something that's a bit more meaningful than a gift shop voucher. Yeah, so I get everybody's jumping on board for that class action suit. I'd be like, yeah, fuck them. Like, they owe me something.
Yeah, it says here, I'm just looking up the lawsuit, but it says there was a 5.5-hour break while crews removed all 30 covers along the 3.8-mile layout and filled in the holes with sand and asphalt, which presumably they're going to have to dig up now come Monday and put drain covers back on top of again.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost them even more money. But
and what would be funny though with the class action suit is because they were complaining that Rihanna didn't sing any songs during that 5.5 hours.
On another note, she's involved, oddly enough, in a lawsuit with a woman from Dublin, apparently.
Oh, I saw that. Oh no, they settled that out of court now.
Oh, is it done? Okay,
it's already done. Yeah, we're grand.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, she was enjoying herself. We might see her on RT News at some stage soon. Let me give you some facts and stats so we can actually move this thing along here. Red Bull today broke Mercedes' single-season record of 19 wins in a year. Verstappen tied Sebastian Vettel's 53 career wins, putting him third in the all-time list behind Michael Schumacher. And Verstappen is the first driver ever to win in the same country 3 times in a single year, after his US victory in Miami, Austin, and now Las Vegas. Dave, I always joke that... Oh, Sergio, right, go on. Yep, go on.
And I had another stat. Leclerc has been 12 races now where it's got the pole, but no win. Just a...
we were trying to keep it light, Isidro.
Thanks, Isidro. Stepped all over my segue as well. Thanks for that.
Here we are hyping up with positive stats all around, and you just come and bring the whole show down.
You couldn't have segued that later on. But anyway, let's talk about Max, baby. I was about to joke that he was inevitable. I always make that he's Thanos of F1. But he wasn't quite as inevitable today, Dave, was he?
What was he not? I know even when he went back to 5th, did you not think he was still going to win that race?
There's always the thought, but I don't think he was quite as invincible. Leclerc seemed to be holding on to him quite well for a long period.
Yeah, but I think what happened... Oh, yeah. Okay, so there was obviously the first stint, the tires just went off very quick for Max, and I think that was purely because he just gunned it on those medium tires and just burnt them up a little bit quicker than Leclerc did. And I think Leclerc did a decent job of sort of nursing his tires and bringing them up to temperature. But on the second stint, though, once he got on those hard compound tires and kind of the race started to unfold, I don't know. I thought it was kind of inevitable. And then even when he did take the lead towards the end, and he was 4 or 5 seconds ahead, and I think he was still going to keep gaining a lead. And it was only he dropped back because the team asked him to try and give Checo a dig out. Which, if I was Checo, I'd be like, could I feel any more belittled right now? Like, Mammy had to come back and hold my hand because I couldn't do it myself.
Oh, ridiculous. We'll get on to SergioPerez. There's a conversation there to be had, but Isidro, Max on turn 1, going into turn 1, he overcooked it. He got a 5-second penalty, but was the punishment fitting the crime? Was he ahead at the apex, as he stated?
I think the 5 seconds No, I think the 5 seconds is not enough for it. The position would be better suited because
Mm.
5 seconds it's fairly easy for Red Bull to win the 5 seconds.
Mm.
Giving the position back would make the race much more interesting because Leclerc would be a better position.
Mm.
But yeah, that's Max's fault. Well, Max's fault for trying his pushing his hand, but at the end, as he said, it was a track that was a bit slippery. He wasn't able to just brake and turn in time. But overall, I don't think the 5 seconds was the right punishment.
You're talking like Michael Massey there. I got Massey vibes off you. Anyway, Dave, go on.
Do you know, I when I watched the race, I was raging. I was like, I couldn't believe he wasn't being told to give the place back. Then when the 5 second came out, obviously Twitter lit up. Everyone was like, well, that makes no difference. He's going to win by 20 seconds. So 5 seconds is irrelevant to him.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to give a penalty based off the incident, or do you want to give them a penalty because it's Max Verstappen and he usually wins by 20 seconds? In which case, do you want to give them a 30-second penalty? Is that what you think is going to be fair? Because in the instance of what happened there, as what unfolded for me, it looked like Max actually, like, they were saying that because the position made wouldn't have been fair. Sorry, the fact that Max retained the position, wasn't fair, and that he didn't give the position back because Leclerc would have been burning up more tires. Max Verstappen was in clear air, so he basically wasn't as hard on his tires. Blah 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 blah. That was sort of people's arguments towards why 5 seconds was unfair and not giving the place back. However, Max ended up burning up his tires quicker than Leclerc anyway because he was trying to break the DRS from Leclerc. And by the time Max had to peel into the pit stops, now I know it was kind of around the pit stop time anyway, like Leclerc was catching Max considerably. Like, so I'd say Leclerc had a couple of laps life left in his tires over Max Verstappen. So having Max Verstappen being out in first for that the duration of those stints, like, I don't think it was it's in hindsight, like, I think it was irrelevant. I don't think it really was that much of a benefit to him, really. So, like I said, people saying what the penalty should have been. If you look at the incident, I mean, look at all the other cars that slid off and spun on turn one. It looked like he pushed him off, but I don't know. I don't know whether there was just low grip and he just kind of nursed that corner a little bit, rather than take a spin out. But basically, rather than turning the wheel aggressively and spinning out, he just nursed it, which ended up, obviously, of course, meant he went wide on that corner and pushed Leclerc out. That's kind of what it looked like to me. So yeah, I just think somewhat of a racing incident, but again, people were bitching and moaning, I think, that he only got 5 seconds because it was Max Verstappen, which I think that's not the way you apply a penalty. Like,
can we take a second all just to appreciate the response that Max Verstappen had to this information? It was, and I'll try to do my best Dutch accent, he said, yes, that's fine. Send them my regards. He was like, fuck you.
Oh, big time. And when I was watching the race, well, not live, but I was watching the race back, I saw that, and I was still, again, at the time, I was still fuming at the penalty and what was being given. I wasn't thinking logically about it. And then he made that statement, and I was like, you dickhead. Absolute dick.
It was class. I actually respect him for making that statement. I really do.
Take your hat off to him.
Yeah, he knows how classy he is. He did complain that it was 99% show, but as we said, it ended up being a little bit more than that. I think he was kind of proven wrong this weekend, in fairness to Max.
So, yeah.
Cedro, I'm going to bring you on to SergioPerez, his teammate. He was back in the points again, and he started back in P11, I believe, and managed to make his way all the way up to P1. He was having a hell of a race for a little while until he seemed to have a little lapse in concentration where Leclerc took him.
Yeah, it was again the same thing. Final lap, he gets overtaken and end of story for him. But overall, I think his race in Vegas was very good. The fact that he was able to lead the race for some time, it seems that he's back to the old Perez. that made Red Bull the early points that eventually helped get the championship and help Perez to seal the second place. The concentration and some mistakes, that cost him very, very much the championship. Not the championship, but the second place.
Yeah.
Even Leclerc losing the concentration on turn 12, I think, that saw Max go long. I think that Perez had his chance, but overall, I think get the podium, it's good for him. It's been a while that he hasn't been able to get the podium. He tried last week, but he got it late yesterday.
Now, I know we've chatted recently about his ultimate demise at Red Bull, and Dave, is he blurring the lines slightly in these last few races? Would Red Bull be crazy, even though Sergio Perez has had a questionable season, to get rid of a 1-2 driver championship finishing pair?
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a shit season for him, and now we're kind of. It can be very much a knee-jerk reaction when someone has a good result, and you're kind of like, "Oh, like, I mean, look where he came from 11th, and he was leading the race at one point." I also have to bring to attention, and I know this is very much nitpicking, and I don't mean to do this for Perez. I don't know why I do it, but I feel I need to. He lost on the last lap when he lost the lead to Leclerc. Or sorry, not the lead. Sorry, he lost second place to Leclerc. The last time Leclerc overtook him was in the exact same spot, in the exact same way. And you're kind of thinking, hang on, did you not learn the last time when he came in? And because when they took him the first time doing that, the commentator's like, oh, he didn't realize he was there. Did you see how he tried to turn in? Didn't realize Leclerc was there. And then what happened on the last lap? The exact same fucking thing. And I'm like, are you with it, dude? Like, you do realize there's other drivers out there trying to get your position. Like,
yeah. But I mean, they are 1 and 2 in the championship. Red Bull as a company will they look at that and go, well, I mean, he's still second. You know, we could put a rookie in there and he could absolutely fuck up our season.
But the point is, though, there's not many races where he's been like he's second, but he's largely second. Well, to be fair, I'm shocked he's second still, given kind of the poor results he's had. But Max has kind of won his driver title by himself, and kind of, you could sort of say, single-handedly his points would have won them the constructors title as well. But it's not so much that he's had a good race, and he's definitely given them something to think about. My questioning would still be like, how much is he supporting his teammate? How much are they actually working, or how much are they able to work together as a team? Because he's so far off the pace of Max, we very rarely see the two of them able to have strategies that work by sort of whether it's Perez holding off someone, basically they don't have any strategies. They don't have any way of sort of manipulating or working the race and working as a team, because they're very rarely in a 1-2 or in a pairing on the track together. So that's what I'm saying. Like they're working individually at the moment, and individually Max got first in the Drivers' Championship, and individually Perez somehow managed to retain second. But they haven't really worked together as a team to be able to give Red Bull those options. So next season, you'd want to be thinking, well, you need to be keeping up there in second place. You need to be qualifying on the front row of the grid alongside your teammate to give us options to control this championship. Otherwise, you're putting us in a risky area that if that's not something that you can achieve. He's giving them something to think about, but I'd still be thinking long term whether he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, the fact that he came second is the fact that Red Bull could possibly look at the Drivers' Championship or the constructors and say, well, Max won this on his own. Perez isn't performing probably as well as he should. We could probably afford to take a gamble on someone, and someone who might bring in more revenue from another sector. As a business, it might be profitable for us to actually look in a different direction, possibly. What do you think, Isidro?
I think you are looking at the Daniel Ricciardo if they want a more driver that can appeal all the markets and not only certain markets like Perez would. I mean, it's I'm not sure how bad a bet would be to have Daniel Ricciardo in the Perez seat rather than have Perez for another year. I think it's easier for Red Bull to have Perez for another year and then let him go and see for 2024 if Perez, not Perez, if how Ricciardo does in AlphaTauri, and then make a decision then.
Yeah, good point. Right, let's move on from Red Bull. We tend to talk about Red Bull quite a lot, unfortunately, this season. Let's talk about Ferrari. There was a lot of bad luck involved here this weekend. We've talked already about the Sainz incident with the manhole cover, but turn one.
We didn't
then
talk about the penalty on that though.
Oh, okay. Well, let's actually get into that then. The 10 place grid penalty. Even though it is the rules, it was unbelievably unfair, Dave, wasn't it?
It was harsh, but I don't think I know it's going to be such an unpopular fucking opinion, but I don't think it was unfair, and the reason for that is because that is the letter of the law, right? We all bitch and moan that they're not sticking to the letter of the law, the rules, and they're interpreting them and sort of making judgment calls on the fly. They're making personal or emotional decisions or whatever it might be. That shouldn't happen, or they don't stick to the letter of the law, and they've done that this time. Now we're all saying, "Oh, that's harsh. You're sticking to the letter of the law." That's but the problem with that is, say you were in a the penalty was because you had to take components that would give a performance advantage. So if you were in a title challenge, say Carlos Sainz was battling Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen's used all his engine allocations and all his component allocations and stuff like that. So he's now kind of limping along on an engine that's fucking done four races already, something like that, right? Now all of a sudden, Carlos Sainz hits that manhole cover, and they Ferrari go, well, fucking the engine's bollocks, we need to replace it, and they say, all right, well, we're not going to give you a 10-place grid penalty. Yeah, it was unfair, the manhole cover, so we're going to let you change your engine, your fucking gearbox, your batteries, your power, all whatever is needed. Yeah, change it, blah, blah, blah. Now, all of a sudden, Carlos Sainz, who's in a title challenge with Max Verstappen, now is out on a brand new power unit that's done 0 fucking races up against Max Verstappen, who's got a 4 or 5 race old engine. So that's, you have to think about the other scenarios. People are looking at it in this scenario, and I get Max Verstappen's coming out saying, and all the teams coming out saying that, if it had been put to them for a vote, they would never have. They would always have said that he shouldn't have gotten a penalty for that, for taking the component changes. But they're saying that because there's no title challenge. Like, if Max Verstappen coming out saying the same thing, that it was harsh, he shouldn't have got a penalty. But had they been neck and neck in the driver's title, and we're on the second last race of the season, and and he's all of a sudden now on a brand new components sitting side by side on the front row of the grid, I'm pretty sure he'd be like straight on to fucking Michael Massey in the cleaning toilets, asking him to come back and fucking sort this out. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. People look at that and kind of go, "Oh, it was unfair," but put it into different contexts of how this could play out, and it's not unfair. That's the letter of the law, and we should fucking be happy that they're actually willing to stick to them.
Yeah, very good point. I suppose if they went another way, then it could start a whole conspiracy of people going around loosening manhole covers at different venues.
Big time. I mean, we only have to look at the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton battle going back a few years, when they interpreted the rules as they saw fit, and that didn't play out too well. So let's not let them do that from now on, because it doesn't seem to work out when they just make up their own interpretations of their own rules. Like,
Isidro, I think that pretty much covered it. Do you have a differing opinion to Dave? I would love to hear it if you do.
No, I agree with Dave. I think the penalty is it as it is as it is. But I imagine that the rules will be updated after for 2024. I imagine.
Yeah.
In what way? What do you see being changed about that scenario?
That they could start looking at if the track is not up to standards, if there's an issue with the track that causes problems to the cars, then the driver may not receive the penalty itself,
Right, Dave, let's go.
or the cost of of fixing the car might not be added to the cost cap of the team.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're looking to do. They're looking to try and bring in sort of like that. If there's a element of the track that causes damage to the car, blah, 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 that it can be interpreted differently. Now, it's Formula One. Their whole job is to try and circumvent rules and get around things and stuff like that. So you know what will happen there. They'll go out in qualifying, and then if someone rides a curb too much and damages a suspension, and then they go out in Q3 of fucking qualifying, they'll be straight on to the steward saying, well, hang on a second, that curb was unnecessary high, it's too aggressive for our suspension, blah, blah, blah. And they'll try and prove with fucking 300 pages of documents and data to show that why that curb has now damaged their car. Like, you know, so I think they'd have to be very, very, very specific. And I think it would only relate to street circuits where you've got issues with drain covers, manhole covers, that type of stuff. Because like if they have a means to get around it, they will. Like,
Go on, Isidro.
What if we are in the Australia Grand Prix and the kangaroo would just jump over the fences, jump into the track, damage the front wing? Who's the fault there?
But you say that jokingly, but it's true. Like we've had already this year, didn't we have the gecko or something like that was on the track? We've had
Lizards.
We had a few bits and pieces fucking strolling off onto the fucking pitch, onto the track.
Birds.
And I mean, there you go. Like, could they say, well, the track, the perimeter of the track wasn't correctly fucking secured, and fucking, you know, Max Verstappen is after plowing into a gecko or something. You know. Anyway, we're off the beaten track.
It's either way, it's good for us because it gives us stuff to argue about. It's fantastic. Leclerc and Ferrari in general, lads, this weekend, the pace was pretty outstanding. Qualifying, I think they blew everyone away, and Leclerc seemed to have pace as well this weekend. Dare I say it? Is it track specific, or are Ferrari back, Dave?
It was very much the track and the weather. Ferrari are usually too hard on their tires, so they just burn them up really fast. But given the weather conditions, the surface, all that type of stuff, the tires didn't grain as much as degrade as much as they were expecting. So they were. And now, in fairness, I will give Leclerc credit, because anytime he came out on the new set of tires, he nursed them up by maybe 4 laps, a lot longer than he normally does, which gave him a lot more life out of them. So I would give him credit. Like he it seemed like he changed his approach to his out laps on the new tire. I think for Ferrari it was very much track specific. But at the same time, they seem to have changed a few little bits and pieces that it was working for them. Great to see fucking Ferrari though get second, and it's just, like I said, it was just piss poor luck for Sainz, because I think he should have been up there as well.
Yeah, showing great pace. Let's take a trip down to Mercedes. I'm going to jump through 2 people on the grid there, just to jump down to Mercedes, just to get them kind of out of the way. George, today, Isidro, 5-second penalty, hitting Max, damaging the side of his car. Did he hit Max, or did Max hit him?
And it clearly George just hitting Max, and I was surprised that George admit that it was his fault, not paying attention to his mirrors, thinking that no one would be crazy enough to overtake in that little corner. but
Mhm.
he forgot that it was Max that was just behind him looking to get his place. But yeah, the penalty is totally deserved, and the fact that George acknowledged his fault, it's a good sign on his maturity. But yeah, nothing to discuss there. Totally Mercedes' fault.
Yeah. Let's not talk about George's maturity just yet. It was only one race. Dave, go on.
No, I agree. Like I don't have much to say about the penalty decision. Just when you're saying about the overtakes and stuff like that, there's been the whole race with people doing overtakes in areas that you just
Mm.
didn't expect them to do an overtake. Like, and just while we were on Mercedes, like, I know we're not on Lewis Hamilton yet, but Lewis Hamilton had a brilliant overtake going into the final turn, going onto the pit straight, and just yeah, there was just some overtakes all around the racetrack, up and down the sort of the grid, where you just were like, oh, there's no way you're getting around, and especially when you knew how slippery the surface was, and they were making it stick, and I was just like, yeah, it was fucking brilliant. It was really great overtaking, like, you know, and a lot of daring stuff, which did lead to collisions like that between George Russell and Max Verstappen, and you know what we saw with Lewis Hamilton and Piastri and stuff like that. It was people being really daring, more so maybe than I think I've seen in any other racetrack in the quantity that we saw it. Like, it was brilliant.
Yeah, in terms of the actual track itself, the shape of the track and the straights and everything, it actually
Spider Pig.
it turned, yeah, it does look like a pig upside down, doesn't it? It actually turned out to be a really great track.
Brilliant.
It's fun. Like, you were on Lewis. Dave, tell me about Lewis today.
He had he had a bit of a shit one. I think he should have been much higher. I mean, whether he would have, I know a lot of people were thinking that he might have finished sort of maybe in fourth today. I mean, where did he actually finish? Hang on, let me just quickly check there.
P7.
P7. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, he had a pretty fucking shit race. Like, I mean, he made some brilliant overtakes, made some great moves, but he was he kept getting into fucking stripes that ended up dropping him further and further back, and he had to keep recovering.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Mercedes, I think, just need to check out now and just concentrate on 2024. I don't think there's anything coming from this. I just don't think they have any confidence in their car. George Russell gave it a damn good go towards the end. He was really making places up. And I know he ended up with a 5-second penalty. Was the 5-second penalty for the collision with Max, or was there an unsafe release in the pit? I think it was with Max, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, it was Max.
so. Which is weird, isn't it? Like, I mean, let's not go into the penalties and stuff again. But yeah, I don't know. Like, the Mercedes could have been further back. They like I said, they just got sort of caught up in incidences that sort of dropped them further back down the pack. But largely, they were probably, their pace probably had them fourth or fifth, but still, they just need to pack that car up and fucking ship it out, like, because it's just like we thought we were going to see by the end of the season. Like, I know when we started the season and they were horrific, we were like, don't worry, but by the kind of when we're getting to the back half of the season, we were expecting to see sort of the Mercedes regularly on the podium, and they're just struggling every time. They're fighting for everything they're getting. Yeah, it's a pity now, but yeah, look, fucking bring around the back of the fucking cattle shed and shoot it, and just let's get on with 2024.
Yeah, there's a new season ahead. And speaking of maturity, Dave, I would just want to commend you on holding yourself back there on a rant about penalties. I noticed that you controlled yourself, so well done.
Thank
you and George have both grown up today. Yeah, just to put that into context, Sainz started behind Lewis. I think he started 2 places behind him, but yet finished 2 places ahead of him. Oh no, a place ahead of him. Yeah, with obviously that Russell penalty as well. Yeah. So just not good for Mercedes, as you say. Pack it in time, I think. Lads, give us. I'll go to you, Isidro. Give us a little rundown of Esteban Ocon today. He was being a little bit grizzly on the radio. He was given some orders which he very much ignored. He was told to hold position behind Gasly, and he said, fuck that, and went for it.
Ocon being Ocon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he was the qualification was not very good, but the race he got lucky that he avoided the initial issues, and after that he just thought, well, I don't need yours anymore. This team is over for 2024. There's one race down, so I just do what I want. And he did very well. I mean, finished P4, starting P16. Say fuck you to the team. I mean, that's all. That's Ocon in a nutshell.
In a nutshell,
Yeah, it is. I fully expected both Alpines to end up, as I said, in the crashing into the sphere, sticking out of it, but it didn't happen in the end, unfortunately. Dave, what did you think of Alpine today? Both were up there at one stage, but Gasly just fell off a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, they were doing quite well. I'll be honest, I don't know what it is with Alpine. I just kind of tune out from them
They're
during
French.
a race. Them and Haas. Although no, sometimes I pay a little bit more attention to Haas just because I just
That's
dislike
hatred.
them so much.
Yeah.
But Alpine are just kind of they're
They're a bit meh, aren't they?
they're just the bland wallpaper that's just there and has been there in your granny's house since the 60s, and you're just like, oh god,
Yeah.
you just can't get around to changing it. It's do you know, I just kind of forget it, they're there. But they were they were doing well for a good while, and but yeah, I suppose, look, what can you say? Ocon finishing fourth, started what, 16th, was it?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Hell of a
can't go
race.
wrong with that. And I mean, Gasly though, he started up quite high. He started what, fifth or something
P4.
like that, I think. Fourth
P4.
he started.
Hmm.
So oh yeah, because of the penalty to Sainz. Yeah, so he started fourth and then finished in 11th. So I mean, he needs to fucking take a look in the mirror, because that was that, you know, they obviously had the pace there.
Yeah, very different tale for both Alpine drivers. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I didn't realize this happened, but P5 for Lance Stroll.
How did you not know that was happening? Like,
I don't know.
I was watching this kind of going, why are we all talking? They were talking about the driver of the day, and they're talking about Piastri, Leclerc. Who else did they stick on the driver of the day? Piastri, Leclerc,
Perez and Verstappen and
Perez and Verstappen. Was it those four?
Yeah, and Hamilton.
And Hamilton.
Leclerc, yeah.
And yet they didn't stick the guy who started 19th and finished 5th.
Yeah,
like,
unbelievable.
In an Aston Martin, like, I mean, do me a favor, like, you know.
Why wasn't there more made of this? I feel that I just didn't notice Stroll throughout the race. I don't know why.
Well, I suppose because he's usually shit, like, you know, and you know, it's kind of, you know, when someone hasn't been at your house parties in a while, you don't really notice when they do finally turn up to one. Like,
yeah, I want to say that Sky Sports were scrolling down. They're like, yeah, Ocon 4th and Sainz is 6th. Wait, is there someone in between them?
Lance, that's
who's in
typo.
5th place? Oh, Stroll. Ross.
The glitch in the GPS data.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, fair play to Stroll. He's he bored me into not noticing where he was in the race, and did a great job. I think he bored everyone in the track maybe and just snuck by them perhaps.
But you know, I just
tactic.
think when a couple of seasons back we were talking about him, like, and he was like, I just think he's got, like, he has potential to be a great driver, but I don't know, there's something. I don't know whether it's kind of, I know he has that air of kind of like, it's daddy's team, like, you know, and that's why I know there's that. Oh, go on. Yeah.
I think that's us projecting that onto him. I don't know if that's actually a thing, is it?
I don't want to think we're
he
that
pushed
unfair,
the
but
guy.
maybe we are that unfair.
I think it's us.
I mean, he pushed the guy in the garage and nothing happens.
Yeah, dick move.
And
Yeah.
the other driver would probably get someone to just talk with him and say, look, go apologize or get a fine or something. But he just, this is my daddy's shop. I do what I want.
Yeah.
My daddy's sweet shop.
I didn't want a pony, Daddy, for Christmas. I wanted a car.
Yeah, I can go behind the counter and take whatever sweets I want.
Yeah.
Walks into the shop. Anyway,
Just going into the garage, like, I'll take whatever tires I want. My daddy owns this team. I don't want hard tires. I want soft tires.
and make my suit blue. Right, let's two final things. There was the Norris spin, which seemed to come out of nowhere. I think it came out of nowhere for Norris as well. What happened there? He just
No, that was fucking. He went. You don't notice when he was talking to like he was shit all weekend anyway. But when he was talking to Martin Blundell, I nearly called him Martin Brundle on the grid. He was he just asked him, "Oh, how'd you feel?" Blah blah. Starting far, and he just I can't remember the exact words he said, but he basically was just saying terrible. Like he says like it feels terrible, the car feels terrible, the tires feel terrible, the track feels terrible. He was just like everything was just like negative.
Yeah.
So when he crashed out, I was kind of like, that just sounds to me a guy that just had no confidence in the car, the tires, the grip, the track, the fucking nothing. Like he just wasn't at the races, no pun intended. Like, so I think when he crashed out, I was kind of like, yeah, I'd say he just like, there was a bit of lapse in concentration, lapse of like confidence. They're saying that there was a bump in the track and that's what caused it. At the point where he lost grip and then spun out, hit the wall and spun off. But I was like, it didn't seem to affect anybody else, like, and they all took that racing line. So I don't know. He's there. I think was it him saying or someone saying that they need to resolve that for the next for next year's race because he says it's dangerous. But I was kind of like, well, after doing 50 laps with 20 cars, 19 cars.
Yeah, I did notice a bit of a bump in the track. Suddenly the cars were all hopping up a little bit just halfway down one of the straights. I think it was there. But yeah, as you say, no one else seemed to have an issue with it. So
no, I think once they know it's there, they compensate their driving for it. Like it's like anything on the track. Like I mean, it's like there was a chicane there, and I fucking plowed into the fucking tire barrier, and you're like, yeah, you knew you. Yeah. Don't go through the chicane. It's even the bump in the track. Like maybe just ease off a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe Lando should send Stroll a text and say, "Look, could you get Daddy to sort that out there?" Just
yeah, exactly.
My buddy Lance
Mexicans out with the shovel. Sergio Perez will be out on track trying to fucking dig that up.
Cedro, my last point of the day, the Williams kettle was boiling in qualifying. And then it very dramatically fell off the cooker during the race, didn't it? They fell way back.
Yeah, it was very disappointing to see Williams always so fast in the practice. They did a very good qualification, finishing in the third row, most of them. I'm surprised Sargent being there.
Yeah,
but then the race itself, it was very disappointing. I think the main issue, and Albon was talking about that the post interview, was that the amount of virtual car and safety car kind of broke their flow and the tires, and they were never able to pick the speed enough to just get to the same level as the qualification. Because otherwise, I was expecting the Williams just flying on that strip. But that didn't happen. Better luck next year, I imagine, because they definitely have the right car for that track.
Yeah, I guess anyone could be good though over one lap, as you say. Dave, any thoughts on Williams?
Yeah, I had them both in my fantasy team, and they gave me no fucking points. No, I thought I was expecting more from them. I mean, it was a track that was fairly suitable for them in terms of they love the high speed circuits. So yeah, I expected them certainly to stay inside the top 10, hence why I added them into my fantasy team. But yeah, just dropped back. Tires just went off. They just didn't have it. But it does. I mean, I don't think I lose too much confidence in Williams. So I think this season has been a great season of growth for that team, given the kind of what they've gone through, the change of ownerships, the probably low budgets, all that type of stuff. So to see how well they're actually, they're no longer the 19 and 20 on the grid. That was always their position, like where they would always be. Like now they're kind of actually kind of challenging up further up the grid. Like, so, yeah, I've good hopes for them. And it was a good race today. Like, okay, the tires went and they ended up dropping back, but I think they've made good progress this season.
Right, Dave, do you want to go our driver of the day picks?
Okay, my driver of the day. I'm gonna have to give it to Lance Stroll. I think I'm just gonna have to fucking just pull the band-aid off there. Lawrence gave me a phone call and said his son.
He'll sponsor the podcast. Right. On that note, then, if he does come and sponsor the podcast, I'll go for Stroll as well. I think, yeah, he probably deserves it. Him or Ocon, but I'll go Stroll just to keep the peace.
Ocon, really?
Yeah, I think he had a fantastic race.
Yeah, I go with Stroll from P19 to P5.
Do you know, if I wasn't going with Stroll, I would have gone with Perez, I think.
Yeah. That
Well,
lapse in
Perez
concentration.
Perez was P11 to P3.
Yeah, but
in a Red
he
Bull.
was battling the top three for podiums, like, so that's why I would have given it maybe to Perez, but I'm not, so I'm not going to try and defend that decision.
Right, so are we going Lance Stroll?
All three of us, Lance Stroll?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Jeez,
that's the only time that's ever going to happen, so
Yeah,
write that
yeah.
one down.
No, that was well done. All right, so loser of the day. There's so many we could choose from here.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'll probably have to go with Carlos Sainz. Really, like, I mean, as I know, I fucking said that the penalty was fair under the letter of the law, but it was still fucking, in the circumstances of how it happened, it was harsh. Saw him starting back in 12th or wherever it was. Yeah, it was harsh, and so yeah, I'd say he's the loser of the day, because I think if he had started alongside Leclerc, I think we might have had a different race. I think they could have worked well as a team, and we might have seen two Ferraris on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, same as Sainz. I mean, he started, as you say, started back in 12th, ended up in 6th. If he'd started in 2nd, it's very, very likely that they could have defended that front, possibly against Max.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to go with Sainz. It was horrible for him.
I go, for me, it'll be Williams as a team. They had a very good qualification, but the race was complete disappointment. No points at all.
Yeah. What was that due to? Just the fact that they had good one lap pace, that they put in good qualifying, and then race pace was just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, from the practice to qualification, they were there in the top 10. But then the race, it was just disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
All right, we've got, if we're going to stick with our usual 1 hour podcast, we better fucking plow through this fucking predictions game.
Let's do it.
Let's start fucking messing around. Pull your pants up, lads, and let's get fucking going. All right, predictions. Fucking, where the fuck is the? Oh Jesus, the Excel sheet's gone nuts on me. Okay. Okay. Sorry, just realized what I have there. Wow, that was an absolute shit show for me this week. Okay, right. So I had Verstappen P1. Okay. I had Norris P2. Did not happen. And Hamilton P3 also did not happen.
Okay, let me give you mine. I was Verstappen P1, which happened. Perez P2, which nearly happened. Leclerc, you bollocks. And Norris P3 did not happen. Nope.
I was Verstappen first, Norris second, and Alonso third.
And we all had pretty fucking... All right. So my flop is an absolute fucking... I feel scandalous taking the point for it, but Tsunoda outside...
Hold on a second. Can you take the point for it? Because he DNF'd.
No.
He DNF'd.
Yeah, get yourself...
Forgot.
Get out of that garden.
Fuck me. All right. 0. All right.
Close. Yeah, mine was worse. I went for Stroll outside the top 10, and that did not happen. Holy moly.
Well,
and like Dave, I went Tsunoda outside top 10.
Oh, look at us. Fucking
I know.
Bunch of puddings on the wall. Fucking everybody. All right. I'm not even going to go through us all individually. We all had, as our surprise, Piastri top 10. And, of course, he finished 10th. So we have all got 1 point, and we all share the point this week.
Do you know what that means? It makes things very interesting going into the last week.
Yeah, because I mean now,
very
hang
interesting.
on a second, I'll call out the table. So in first, we have me on 12 points, and tied in last place is you two boys on 11 points. So
Yeah.
yeah, if one of you guys win, well, there can be a draw. There can be, I don't know what happens if there's a tie break. We don't have any protocol in place for this.
I don't know, biggest Mickey. We'll just take it out and measure.
Yeah. So do you want to give me the win now or?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we do. Flip a coin, alphabetical order, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Changing my name.
I know we'll
Alex.
cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Okay, so now, right, Abu Dhabi. I'm going to have to fucking. There's no Hail Marys here. I have to go for fucking. So we're going Max Verstappen, P1, Abu Dhabi. I'm going to have to go with Leclerc in there somewhere. But
Yeah, it's a matter of what order.
I know. I'm trying to thinking. Is he going to finish? Got the pace. See, could be a track now. The hot circuit. This is the time now they start fucking burning up the tires. You could go with fucking Leclerc in your top 3, and he ends up finishing fucking 7th or 8th. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God. Have you boys prepared predictions, or are you doing it on the fly?
Yeah.
No, I've got them
No.
done. Yeah.
Ready.
Dicks, I thought we were doing this whole thing about we were just going to do it on the fly, on the spot. So I'm the only one here making it up as we go.
And that's
All
why you
right.
have 12 points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to say that's not why I've got 12 points. All right. I'm going to go with sweet cheese. I'm going to go Norris. Oh, no, I'm not. Dave, what are you doing?
Oh, go on, do it.
This hurts.
Take a chance.
I'm going to go.
Please go.
I'm going to go Norris 3rd. And I know I
Ooh.
haven't done my 2nd yet. And I am going to go with. Fuck me. Oh, can you come back to me? Okay, it's either going to be Leclerc or Perez.
Right, but you can't copy our homework, so.
So yeah, no one's giving anything away there when I said that.
No.
uh,
Everything
will-
is to play for here, buddy.
oh, fuck me. I'm gonna go with. I can't choose. It's so painful. All right, I'm gonna go. And I know Perez is gonna let me down, but I'm going Perez P2.
Right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
regret that.
So here is mine. I'm going to go Verstappen P1. I'm going to go Leclerc P2 and Perez P3. Same as today.
See, I think like I feel that's the riskier one with Leclerc P2 because
I know,
just
but I've
hot
got to take a
circuit,
chance. I got to take a chance now.
going big air. All
Yeah.
right.
I go with Max Verstappen first, Fernando Alonso second, and Perez third place.
Oh, someone's counting on having the biggest Mickey in the room, isn't he? All right, Alonso
very
second,
good.
and who third?
Perez.
Interesting.
Perez.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, that's it.
Alonso got unlucky in Vegas.
Jesus Christ.
When's
All
the
right,
last
well,
time Alonso's been on the podium? What, two races ago, maybe?
Last week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks ago.
Right.
All right, my flop
Anyway, sorry, go on.
is
Go on.
going to be oh, which one of you fuckers is it going to be? I'm going to go with Stroll.
Oh
outside
my
top 10.
God.
Did you went with the exact same? Did you?
Well, not now.
You can go with my second choice. I can give you my second choice if you want.
No, you're all right. I'm gonna go Ocon DNF.
With a DNF. I was going Ocon outside top 10.
No, I'm gonna go Ocon DNF.
Yowza.
I'm gonna take a chance.
Now's not the time to be a hero, Scotty. All right, Isidro, who you got?
My flop will be Ocon outside top 10.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna go with.
I hope he fucking plows into Perez.
It plows into Alonso.
Or Alonso, sorry, yeah. Right, Dave, go on.
All right, my surprise will be now the fact that Norris was a DNF. We can't. Well, I have him in P3 anyway, so
can't use him.
We can't use a DNF. So I will go with
Don't do it. Don't you dare.
There's
Don't.
two options here.
Hmm.
There's
Go
two
with the
options.
classic.
Don't.
Go with the classic.
Don't do it.
I don't think I can go with the classic. I'm gonna have to
Uh,
go with the same one that fucking I think Scotty's got, and that's Gasly
Ah!
top 10.
God damn it.
I was happy not to go first in all these, right? You guys are the ones that had me
Okay.
going first.
So I am going to go. Oof. I'm going to have to keep up with you, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to say Gasly top 10 as well. I don't want to lose points.
Yeah. 0. Big air.
Albon, top 10.
Yeah.
You know, every time we fucking put Albon in our top 10, he doesn't do well.
Sure, look. He's the new Schumacher. He's this season's Schumacher top 10.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, look, that's we're just over the hour mark, so let's not fucking hang around here with our pants down, and let's just fucking wrap it up. So we will be back next week for the Abu Dhabi Grand Finale. Undecided yet. I don't know. Are we getting together and doing this in a comfortable setting with a duvet?
Yeah, let's all snuggle for the last one. Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll all fucking get together and fucking get some ham sandwiches, and we will see you for the review. Till next time.